In some of the other videos about meditation essentials in this sort of series, you might say, I've talked about ways to sit, where to meditate, how to integrate meditation into your daily schedule, various practical aspects of making meditation really work for you in your life. Today, I'd like to pick up another one, which is how to begin a meditation. And there's a very particular suggestion that I'd like to make, which is that the first 15 to 30 seconds really set the tone for how that meditation will go. And so it's important to try in the first few seconds of sitting down to practice to be really, really still. Because stillness is the place where meditation really happens. If we are fidgeting, if the mind is going in a million directions at once, we can't achieve meditation. Meditation, in a sense, really is stillness. There's the memorable, quotable passage in the Bible, "Be still and know that I am God." And this is one of these places where language doesn't really do us a favor, because we're talking about unity with God. Be still and know that you are one with that divine essence. That's what meditation can bring. And so physical stillness is kind of the beginning part of that equation. If we don't have physical stillness, then the deeper levels of stillness can't come to us. But beginning with physical stillness, then we can sort of work our way in deeper. Now, to get physical stillness, we have to be able to sit comfortably, of course. And I've been over that in other videos, so I won't go into that very much now, except to say that the spine should be upright and relaxed, shoulders back, chin parallel to the floor. And you want to be able to breathe comfortably. You don't want your back to hurt, your neck to hurt, your knees to hurt, etc. Pain is not an advantage here. This is not a case of no pain, no gain. This is, in fact, rather the opposite. Pain is going to equal that you're stuck and you can't really get farther into the process. So you want to get that part out of the way. But then it just takes a certain discipline to just say, okay, now we come to stillness. Now we get quiet and we go within. And then once you do that, then the next deepest level is to try to relax the heart, because the heart can be pulling us in all sorts of emotional directions. We regret this, we're hopeful for that, we're anticipating, we're excited, we're whatever. There's all, grieving, and there's all sorts of aspects of the heart that are perfectly normal and natural. It's just that when we're meditating, we want to relax all that. This is just another level, another type of relaxation. First, we start with the physical, then we move to the heart, the feeling level, then we move to the mind. Mental stillness is harder to achieve because mental stillness requires that we understand the role of energy in the process. When our energy is moving clearly and directly, when we have control of that energy, then we can begin to relax the mind. We can begin to relax away from the thought that I am this body, I am this personality, I am the identity that I have built up over perhaps several decades, many decades of acting in certain ways, having a certain profession, having a certain social life, outward life. All of those things tend to give us this egoic identity that says, I am this, I'm not that. Maybe I used to be that. Maybe I really hope to never be that. Whatever. We sort of say, this is, I pull this in and I push that away. We are the light of God. And there's no quality to that except infinite joy, infinite love, infinite peace and calmness, infinite wisdom, etc. And that awareness can only grow on us as we get deeper into that stillness, without which we can't really even make the first steps toward it. So it's really, really important to just get still. This is another aspect of it, that when we think of successful meditation, there's usually a certain amount of time required. Now, I hesitate to say that because in the beginning, we don't want to go way past our point of diminishing returns, way past the point where we're no longer enjoying it. But once we've dipped into that joy, once we feel those results and are inspired by it, then it's nice to push it a little bit. Not every time and not sort of ruthlessly, but just encourage, try a little more occasionally, try a lot more occasionally. And then what happens is we discover that without even being aware of it necessarily, we get engaged in our practices, we get engaged in pranayams or different exercises that we're doing, meditative practices. And then what we discover is that the mental static, the mental restlessness or emotional restlessness, just like kind of cloudy water, the silt or the cloudiness will drift to the bottom and just come to rest there. And what we achieve is a clarity of mind and consciousness. And that usually takes time. And I don't just mean time over a few minutes. It does take that also, but it also tends to take time over months and years for most people, because most people are not accustomed to having that stillness as a part of their daily life. We tend to be very engaged. Our senses, we're consuming sensory experience all the time. And so our habitual inclination is that, and it's harder to pull away from that and go back into our native state, which is that stillness, which is that joy. And that's what the practice of meditation can give us, is an experience of that. But we have to prime the pump with stillness. Namaste.